The Legend of Zelda is a classic series filled with timeless classics that are beloved across the gaming sphere. Looking back from Breath of the Wild and into its legacy, it's incredible how Link's adventures all started out so humbly. No other Zelda game, though, has been as heavily discussed, argued, or even replayed as Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64. Up until the big-end successor to the generation-defining SNES, Link's puzzle-solving, dungeon-crawling good times were had in 2D. From side-scrolling action to top-down exploration, the series has experimented with a variety of perspectives. Just like with Nintendo's other big games, the Nintendo 64 brought Zelda into the world of 3D graphics. For most fans, this was a revelation of epic proportions, as though the series was always better suited for 3D. The immersive options afforded by the jump to 3D-dimensional space were an advantage. The puzzles became more elaborate, the combat more strategic and deep, and the story more impactful. Speaking of the tearjerker of a story, Ocarina of Time tells one of the most beautiful stories in Zelda history. While the main arc of reclaiming the Triforce and stopping Ganondorf is pretty much the same here, the key difference is the time travel element. Throughout the game, Link bounces between being young Link and adult Link thanks to the power of the Ocarina of Time, the titular item. This dynamic leads to some profoundly deep conversations and story beats that have led to many gamers' tears to be shed. The main story aside, there are plenty of shorter tales to be experienced through the game's optional side quests. Another first for the series. Traveling back and forth in time is a big part of the game's mechanics. Link's playstyle changes dramatically depending on which point of time he's in. As young Link, he's small enough to fit through tight spaces, enabling him to solve certain puzzles. Adult Link, on the other, is the only one that has access to the fairy bow. In his older form, Link is also able to wield the Master Sword. Another new feature first introduced in Ocarina is the Horse Epona, which allows Link to travel from point to point faster, with combat restricted to bow attacks. Ocarina of Time is the entry of the Zelda series into 3D space, but it also paved the way for other future titles. Its brilliant use of 3D space and mechanics open up more space for experimentation, both with gameplay and story elements. It's worth noting that the game's successor Majora's Mask, while divisive in many ways, are some of the saddest stories in Zelda history. So what did you think of Ocarina of Time? Is this your favorite Zelda game? If not, which one is? As always, let us know in the comments below.